Hello and welcome back to Random Familia Chat. Today we're going to be talking about updates on Saskatchewan, Canada, and around the world updates for coronavirus or COVID-19. Thanks for coming and stay tuned. This is a little bit on the more serious note. COVID-19 obviously is serious on every aspect. But here in Saskatchewan, our Premier, Scott Moe, has now announced new restrictions Friday aimed at preventing the spread of COVID-19. He said the public health recommendation to self-isolate for 14 days upon returning from international travel is now mandatory. He signed an emergency order enabling police to enforce protective measures. This doesn't mean that you go to the grocery store, go to the drugstore, or go fill up with gas when you go home and self-isolate. This means you go home, and you go home now, Moe said at the news conference. If you don't do this, you're now breaking the law. Those who refuse to follow the order could face up to a $2,000 fine or arrest, Moe said. Now, I would take this seriously. The reason that the Prime Minister of Saskatchewan is so serious about this and has made this something mandatory is because we don't want to have a province or country like Italy. They have a higher death toll now than China. In Italy, the death toll from an outbreak of coronavirus has leapt from 793 to 4,825. This is a 19.6% increase. By far the largest daily rise in absolute terms since the contagion emerged a month ago. Folks, this is a scary situation out there. We need to self-isolate. We need to keep a distance from other people. Those who have not been in contact with it, have not been traveling outside of the country, are not diagnosed with coronavirus. If you need to go buy groceries, if you need to do things like that, go ahead. But please do your best to self-isolate and to do social distancing. There's also a ban placed on people going to the Northwest Territories. And now they have found their first case in the Northwest Territories. They hadn't had any cases, but now they do. They have their first one. And that's all it takes. Canada had 1,331 cases as of this evening, with 19 deaths and 16 recovered cases. Our border is no longer open for routine casual traffic between Canada and the US, which has been in place for a few days. Canadians stuck in Peru are in limbo on getting back to leave the country. Flight bringing Canadians home from Morocco is expected to land in Montreal. Test, test, test is the first rule in the war against COVID-19, according to the head of the World Health Organization. But in Canada, we are having a hard time getting tested. Why is that? Let's find out. You cannot fight a fire blindfolded, and we cannot stop this pandemic if we don't know who is infected. Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, I apologize if I destroyed that name, the WHO's Director General said in a briefing on Monday. But right now, Canada does not know who is infected or how many people are infected. Well, that's scary. That's because not everyone can get a test, even if they have symptoms and think they might have the illness. Access to testing varies across the country. In Ontario, tests are being rationed so that there will be enough for the highest priority patients, including healthcare workers. The extremely high volume of COVID tests being conducted at the Public Health Ontario Laboratory requires us to start prioritizing testing for the most vulnerable people in our health system and those who treat patients, a Public Health Ontario spokesperson told CBC News via email. In terms of who should not be tested, people who do not have symptoms do not require testing. Well, yes, that is wise, and obviously if you don't have symptoms, you don't need to be tested. Although we don't know sometimes if we have the virus. So that's a hard one as well. But so far, nearly 66,000 Canadians have been tested, including about 17,000 in BC, 16,650 in Ontario, 14,500 in Alberta, and about 873 Canadians have tested positive, and 12 deaths have been reported. At Toronto's Michael Garron Hospital, a new guidance document describes the latest testing protocol. Anyone who is asymptomatic will be sent home without a test and be instructed to self-isolate and monitor themselves for common cold symptoms. And that's the thing. It is so close to the common cold, we just don't know whether it is something to be out there and contaminating other people. We have to do what we are told. If we have a cold, even a common cold, stay home, get rest, and get better. WestJet has said it is suspending international travels as of Sunday for a 30-day period. Swoop, the discount carrier owned by WestJet Airlines, will do the same, and said it is now working on bringing home the 2,300 Swoop passengers who are still outside of Canada. Sunwing Airlines said it expects to have all its customers, most of whom are at Mexican or Caribbean resorts, back home by Monday. Sunwing is offering vacant seats on its repatriation flights free of charge to any Canadians stranded in sun-kissed parts of the hemisphere, including non-Sunwing customers. So if you know anybody out there who is stranded in resorts in different parts of the world that need to come home to Canada, let them know that Sunswing is offering free flights to get home. Now, everybody seems to be working together. There is still, yes, the crazy issue out there. So again, I went to Superstore yesterday, and I thought, well, okay, I'm getting a little bit low, so I should buy one package of toilet paper. Go to Superstore yesterday, and once again, the aisle is empty. Walmart is doing a great job at limiting customers to how much they can buy of the high need, high demand items in their store. Superstore, I haven't seen anything up to show that. But it's not just the toilet paper, it's the hand soap. Of course, you can use any other kind of soap, like shower soap or anything, but when you're looking for something that is normally there and it's not there, it's a little frustrating. So people, please, think of other people. Don't just think of yourself. There are so many out there that need these things. The stores are not closing down. You don't need to be hoarding anything. You've got stores right near, just down the street. You don't need to be a hoarder. Toilet paper, hand sanitizer, Lysol wipes, Lysol spray, soap. You don't need to be a hoarder. Buy it when you need it. Buy a couple. These stores, citywide, townwide, normally have enough for all of us to purchase things. So right now, when it's this kind of situation, it's crazy that there is not enough to go around. So people, please think of other people. And don't take this as a business opportunity, because it is not. It is not. This is taking advantage of people in need. Don't do it. Look out for each other. When it comes to self-isolating, when it comes to not over-purchasing, when it comes to social distancing, look out for other people. You might not be you might not have the COVID or coronavirus, but even if you have a cold, stay home. Just stay home. Trudeau is also asking for people to avoid traveling from province to province right now in Canada. Just stay home. Right now, there's not a need to go traveling. Yes, I have friends who have grandbabies that are being born and they cannot even go meet them. And it's very sad, but it would be more sad if those babies ended up getting sick. It would be more sad if seniors end up getting sick, if our family members get sick and die. Please, for the sake of humanity, for the sake of everyone, doesn't matter how the coronavirus started. There are different rumors on how people think that it started, but you know what? It doesn't really matter how it started. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that it's there, it's serious, and it is killing people and making them seriously ill. So people, follow not only the guidelines, because people haven't been following the guidelines, now things have to be mandatory. Come on. We are all adults. We can teach the young people and teach the children to respect other people. Please, this is something serious. Do your part. Be a human being and do your part to protect others. Enough said. Until next time, stay safe.